Okay, it's up. Have fun!
Okay, I may have to pause here and there because it's very, very. We could cover a lot of stuff potentially, so I'm just gonna say that. Um, and I don't want to give you the wrong information either. Um, but as a just to follow up from where we left off last night, everyone discussed and they decided to go ahead and let you go with Burly to see Mr. Light. And I believe Dan is gonna chill around with Lyletta. Is that correct? If I remember.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. So
Who's hanging out with the rest of us?
yeah. Okay. So Burly is gonna walk up to you, Ayfram, and check in with you and see if you're ready to go.
Let's go.
Okay. Uh, he leads you around to the big top and hold on. My notes are scrambled. Okay, fine. Okay, so he leads you back behind the big top, and on the way there, he mentions to you that it'll be in your best case of interest to, no matter what happens, don't cause the owners any sort of harm. If something were to happen to the owners, something will happen to the carnival, and it could potentially ruin many lives here and elsewhere potentially. Y'all end up walking towards this 20-foot high, 5-foot thick walls of thorns that has various colors of flowers of all types and sizes. And before he gets close to the wall, he turns to you and says, I will let you know that Mr. Light and you will be alone. Me and the clown I mentioned will be stationed nearby. However, if you and Mr. Light go inside his tent, we'll be unable to hear you, and I will be unable to help you. You sure about this?
Yes, it's
Okay.
the best option that we have to get answers right now.
He nods. And when he gets 5 feet from the wall of thorns, roughly a opening opens up of 8 foot high and about 4 foot wide, enough for like wagons to come through or like decent sized group of people to enter through. Once y'all pass through, it closes behind you. Glancing around, you see in this enclosed area a circle of tents and wagons with a giant enclosed water tank. All these tents and wagons are very unique. Each has like bright, intricate designs on them, except for roughly 3 of them, 2 tents and a wagon. They're located like towards the back part of the circle in the middle, and they have like sparklers on top, bunch of like lights circling around, various colors. They gradually change, and uh, Currently points straight ahead to exactly those 2 tents and the wagon, leans into you and says, that's Mr. Witch's and Mr. Light's property over there, pretty much. You can see It's not as big or wide, so you can easily see all the way all the way over to their tents are at. And you do see like a plump elf wearing like teal, purple, gold color clown outfits. And he's just like blowing on his pipe, creating like little bubbles while he just glances around. Not he doesn't look too happy. He's very like stern. Burly just kind of like gestures and says, "That's Danko, the clown I warned you about. Don't trust him, and trust me, he's not out to protect any of these carnival goers or anything. He only looks out for himself." As you get a little closer, you actually do. Give me a perception check.
$18.
18. Good. Off to your right, you see a similar figure start walking towards you. You recognize him from the basically the big event at Big Top. It's the same guy that tried to gain Dane's attention. He's noticed you and immediately has like a huge grin on his face, and he kind of yells out in your direction, "Oh, I see you trade up your guy for a piece of lights. How typical. Guess he means he's up for grabs now. Guess I'll go say hi to him." And you see that he was walking in your direction, but now he turned to the same area where you and Burly entered at.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna really pay attention to him. I just want to walk to Mr. Light's tent. I'm gonna give him kind of a nasty look, but
Okay. Uh, as you and Burly get close, to Burly leads you to the wagon, which is directly in the middle of the two tents. And you see Danko, the clown. He's just kind of glaring at both of you guys, especially at Burly, and he kind of like does like a little snark kind of sound. He doesn't speak to either one of you. Burly tries to get closer to the wagon to like make like a knocking gesture, but Danko immediately stops him and shakes his head. And Burly goes, "Oh, which is there?" And Danko just nods. Burly backs away. He leans into you, just like, give it like a few moments. Some time passes, and you immediately start to hear raised voices coming from the inside the wagon. You hear a guy go, "You need to find a way to calm down." And you hear a similar voice that you can recognize as to be Lights. "Don't tell me to calm down, and don't worry about having a treat. Wait, don't worry, I'm having a treat being delivered to me soon. And he should be here any moment. But all honesty, which that Kinku is nothing but a pest, and she needs to be dealt with." Which goes, "Oh, well, sorry. I guess that was a little spoiler, so cut that out." So the guy says, "Ugh, another toy? You need to stop fooling around so much. It's bad business, and I wouldn't worry about the Kenku. She knows nothing and won't find anything. She'll give up and leave soon." The voice that you recognize as Light goes, "I hope so. Just she ruins so many people's experiences here." The other guy goes, "Trust me on that. But look at the time. I need to prep for the 8th hour event." Then you hear like major, like loud shuffling and movement, loud bits of banging inside, and then this plump figure wearing like a business outfit, very plump though, wearing like a top hat, pale grayish skin, bit on the older side, begins to leave the wagon, but he's looking down at this pocket watch, and he kind of just like turns a little bit, still looking at the pocket watch, and kind of just shouts out behind him, I could easily turn time back so you can relive that lovely performance, but... And then he knows at the corner of eye, you, Burly, standing. He kind of just like glances at both you and Burly up and down and just kind of tucks the pocket watch away. And he begins to leave, walk past you without even glancing at you, towards the direction that you and Burly came from. Mr. Light ends up walking out of the wagon, and he sees you. His arms reaches up in the air, and he just looks up at you and down, looks at Burly, gives like a hand motion to basically to tell Burly to leave. Burly leans in, says good luck, and walks away. Mr. Light comes and walks up to you, grabs your hand, and goes, "Ah, I'm so glad you decided to come. Please, right this way." He leads you to the tent that is to the right of the wagon. He opens a little doorway and ushers you in. Once you're inside, it looks like a typical home. Oddly enough, you see like a couch type, little table, various mini tables along the wall, some bookcases, a desk, and a lot and lots of makeup everywhere, various clothes like flung all over the place, bottles of what you can guess could be honey mead lying unopened. Some of them are spilled here and there. He steps over a few bottles and he flings his hand open, and some curtains that were nearby spread open, revealing a sort of like a attached bedroom almost. There's like a giant circular bed and various questionable things around it. He grabs 2 bottles of honey mead and tosses one to you.
I do my best to catch it.
Okay, I guess roll either athletics or acrobatics.
19.
19. You easily caught it. No worries there.
Yeah, I go ahead and just take a sip of it. And is there any place to sit down in this place aside from the bed?
I was like, oh, you want to get to know each other first, I see. Yeah, and you can sit there, and he like ushers towards like the kind of like a makeshift couch kind of thing.
Great. I'm gonna go sit down on that thing.
He doesn't join you on the couch though. He stands across from you, but leaning against the wall, while taking a few sips of honey mead.
Thank you for inviting me here. I was hoping to be able to talk to you a bit about the carnival.
He ponders a bit. He was like, oh, you only came to talk?
Mostly, that was my intent. At least for now.
I see. Okay. So you're the type of guy who likes to build up to it. Understandable. What do you want to know?
Well, I couldn't help but overhear some loud voices when I was standing outside, and I'm curious about this kinku that was mentioned.
Oh,
One of my friends had nearly all of his possessions stolen by what I believe is this kinku, and is there any way for us to get them back?
he shrugs. He's like, I have no control over that kinku. The only way, if you're interested in getting your... He kind of rolls his eyes. Friends. Stuff back. I guess you have to find the kinku, which, good luck. I've been trying to get her out of here for quite some time. And has not been doing good. My partner, he gets annoyed and he like leans further back into the wall and crosses his legs and his arms with the bottle like kind of like dangling like loose griply. He thinks we should just let her be. He even told his staff members that. Me, I want her out. But he rolls his eyes. We're
Well,
partners after all.
on the subject of things that seem to be outside of your control here at this carnival, are you aware that someone has been murdered here tonight?
He looks at you puzzling. And he's like, murder? Oh, what do you mean?
Just that. Cold-blooded murder. It seems that you weren't aware of it.
You sure it's murder, not some kind of act?
I am confident it is not some kind of act. In addition to that, which is arguably more serious, earlier, my friend and I were attacked outside of the Hall of Illusions by a woman wearing a blue crescent moon hat. And she was clearly wielding some kind of evil magic and attacked our lines. And she ended up kidnapping my friend. Do you happen to know anything about a woman that matches that description?
The moment you mentioned the crescent moon girl, he drops his bottle of honey mead and it shatters. He kind of just he gets off the wall, starts pacing up and down like in front of you, but not like going left and right, not like directly from you to the wall, but like left to right. And he kind of just keeps like looking at the ground, pondering, and then he turns to you, claps his hands. So, are you having fun at the carnival?
You do know something.
No, what?
Something I just said triggered you. And there's more. There's a little girl wearing a pig mask and some kind of sickly frog-like creature.
No.
They were all working
I don't know
together.
what you're talking about. And he starts pacing a little faster. And he's like, "Oh, I know what we need. We need more honey mead."
Would it
And he
help
goes,
you? Would it help you if I told you that the hag has been destroyed?
he stops, and he's like dead frozen. His all you see is his backside, and a few seconds pass, and you start hearing a deep, deep chuckle coming from him. Destroyed, you said? I highly doubt that.
I saw it with my own eyes. Or heard it with my own ears, I should say.
Is that so?
Something devoured her. And then we destroyed whatever it was that was at least acting as some sort of focus for that thing.
He takes a deep breath and he sighs. He goes and fetches another thing of honey mead, starts to guzzle it, slams it down on a nearby countertop, turns to you and says, "What were you doing before all this happened?"
Do you mean before I arrived at the carnival?
Ah, before you... He like motions his hands in the air. I guess experience this so-called hag or this murder, you so claim.
Well, it wasn't too long before that I arrived at the carnival. And kind of wandered around and observed a few things. And again, like I said before, helped my new friend when he had his things stolen by this Kenku. What are you getting at?
He chuckles and then he walks towards you and he sits beside you on the couch, turns his body to look at you, puts his arm behind you, resting on the back of the couch, and he leans in. Let me guess, you did some drinking.
Nothing more than I couldn't handle. That I could handle.
Make a perception check for me.
The 12.
He takes one hand and motions to the honey mead. I was like, maybe you should have a few more sips. This seems like a very dark matter, and it's gonna take quite some time to discuss or figure out. And what better way is to have a little extra hydration, don't you think?
For now, I think I prefer my own hydration. I just take out my skin water and drink some of that instead. And then I reach into the sack at my side and just grab a few pinches of the shadow ash that I collected up and just kind of sprinkle it on his leg. Say, that is the remnants of something that my companions and I fought here at this carnival. I didn't imagine it. It wasn't an illusion. And I can only gather from what I'm hearing that you're actually aware of this happening here.
Face goes dead-like. He slowly gets off the couch while not looking at you, walks over into the bedroom, grabs something, slowly comes back. His hands are currently behind his back. And he goes, "You look awfully familiar now that I'm thinking about it. Were you here before?"
It's funny you mentioned that, and I'm standing up. Because I think I have been here before. Some years ago. And I think that something was taken from me at that time, and I have met other people at this carnival who've had the same sort of experience. That is what we're after, or at least that is what I am after. The only reason that I came here is because I felt that whatever was taken from me might be here. And having seen the little girl wearing the pig mask, that is the memory that I have of the thing that took a part of me. Now, unfortunately, that creature, and that frog-like creature, and that woman with the crescent moon hat all got away when we were fighting against them in the Hall of Illusion. And my goal in coming here was to find out if you had any information about how we might be able to find them, because I want to get back what was taken from me.
He looks down, slowly nods as you talk. He sighs. If something was taken, that meant you didn't have a ticket. Everything comes at a cost, and looks like you paid it with something else. That is out of my control. That is out of the carnival's powers.
So how do people come to this carnival?
He looks up at you, looks at you dead in the eye. How did you come into the carnival?
A portal appeared in front of me.
Exactly. Portals
Makes-
open up.
Makes me believe that the carnival is basically by invite only.
Mm. For the most part, when we travel between realms and dimensions, planes, whatever you feel like calling them, we place them near villages, towns, so that way people have an escape once every 8 years. Now,
So the tickets that people get, I've heard that these are for our protection. So do you and your staff make any effort to ensure that everyone who arrives at the carnival gets a ticket, or are you indifferent?
wait, I think my sound thing fucked up for a moment.
Oh. Do I need to repeat the question?
Technical difficulties, give 1 second. Mari's gonna restart real quick.
Okay.
Test.
Signal 4, hear you.
Ah, I hear you. Okay. That's so weird. Okay, terribly sorry. Can you repeat all of that for me?
Repeat the question. Yeah. So basically, when people arrive here at the carnival, do you and your staff make any attempt to ensure that folks get a ticket, or are you indifferent to whether people have tickets or not?
There's only one way into the carnival, and that's right where we place the ticket booth. What
How is it
happens
that
at the
people arrive without? How do people get into the carnival without a ticket?
if something was taken from you, you should know the answer to that then.
Fortunately, my memory of my first visit to this carnival is almost non-existent.
He
But
walks up to you, pretty much gets face to face, almost. Just a few inches apart. His hands are still
backing
behind
up.
his.
I'm
Okay.
backing up.
He goes, listen, I will not harm you, but if you want a refresher of those memories, I can give it to you. Just say the word.
Mhm.
He takes one hand out from behind his back. Nothing's in it. He reaches out. You're a little bit away. He motions his hand towards like the side of your face where it would be at. And it's like it can only take a little bit.
I'm backing up as much as I can to the door and
What door?
say, or the opening to the tent,
As you try, as you
and say, I think I've learned enough for now. Thank you.
what you thought was where the door was at, or even the entrance, it's no longer there. It is pure wall.
Mhm. So,
Why are
a
you
bit
so
confused.
nervous? Why are you afraid? I said it won't harm you.
You'll pardon me, but I don't know you.
You don't know me, and yet you so graciously placed your hand in the back of my head and offered a conversation. Which meant, and my field of work, that you wanted something more, he licks his lip, delicious, per se. And I was so willing to let you experience it. And then you come in here, come to me with this nonsense. I need you to make a charisma saving throw right now.
15.
Your vision starts to get hazy. You're starting to feel like what you would normally feel if you were intoxicated. The room starts to spin slightly. He runs to you, grabs onto your hand, and goes, "Oh, are you okay? You look like you had a bit too much honey mead."
Am I able to shake this off at all?
You can try. Give me another charisma saving throw.
Was this a charm by any way? By any means?
Nope.
24 that time.
You tried your best to shake it off. But instead, as time goes by, your body begins to grow heavy. He whispers into your ear, "Don't worry. I'll take good care of you." And he guides you to the couch. He places you onto the couch, and he walks away. The room for you right now is starting to spin faster and faster. You can try and make another charisma saving throw again.
I'm gonna do better than that. That was a 1, that die.
Your vision turns black. It's like you're sleeping, but yet you're not. You can still hear, but you're kind of trapped in the mind of like a black room. Very, very cold. Sorry, I'm trying to find something real quick. You hear a shrilling female's voice echo in the room. You dare seek answers. We know everything about you and your friends.
Great. Perhaps you'd like to enlighten me.
She ignores you. You keep seeking answers about us, and your friends will pay. With that, a blurry figure, well, more like a blurry scene of Dickens and you. You're currently chained into a stone wall with bits of moss. Dickens, the similar fairy type fae creature that you recognize, is currently torturing you with various tools, saying, "Oh, you dare to escape. You think I would have noticed? I have your name, after all." That scene begins to fade away into dust. Another scene is of, forgive me if I mispronounce this, Loris? Is that his name?
Yep.
You see Loris tied down to the floor. Not exactly to the floor, but his hands and feet are bound up with black silk rope. And you see a gnarly hand covered in warts, long twisted nails going in his direction, and a mixture of reddish green smoke engulfs him. You hear his screams and his cries, and you see his body mutate bones begin to pop out of the skin. Blood is pouring everywhere. He begins to yell and cry in agony, and the smoke engulfs him. And briefly, you see a giant monstrous creature appear where he was at. That vision fades and turns to dust. You see a similar house, one that you recognize from your childhood. You hear a young girl, a feminine girl's voice, begin to scream as smoke escapes from the windows of the place. The vision zooms inside of the house. You see a similar girl with blonde hair chained up as fire engulfs her. The vision fades away again. You hear the same female's voice from when all this before started, saying, "Oh, and your new friend? The blonde one? The blonde elf? With a tattoo? Here's his fate." And a blurry scene appears before you again of Dane tied down, floating in a pool of what you think might be blood, along with 7 other blurry bodies. Eventually, the center of those 8 figures creates a fire. And then 8 humongous arms, all looking different. Some of them are armored. Some of them has like torn rips of flesh. Other ones are like just muscle and little bits of skin on them. Other ones are just big, giant bones. And each arm grabs a body and tightens their fist around it. And they all pop like an eyeball. The scene fades away and turns to dust. Then you hear another female's voice saying, "Oh, but these visions may or may not have come true. But if they were, and they haven't already, then they will. We will make sure that it will come true. Except for your friend. That's already gonna come true. I'm gonna get too attached to him. If I was you. Make me a charisma saving throw.
24.
Okay. The room begins to go away. You start to blink your eyes in and out. As you come to, you're no longer in Mr. Light's tent. Instead, you're at a similar place. Give me a perception check.
Eleven.
Well, glancing around, you recognize this place. And then, off in the distance, you hear a similar voice. Well, actually, you hear two similar voices off in the distance. Do you want to go to those voices?
They sound the same.
They're two different, but they sound similar to you from a past.
Familiar
Mhm.
to me. I have no idea where I am.
You're definitely not at the carnival. You're, you know what? Give me an let's see here. Give me either history, insight, or arcana.
I want to do a 360, just see if see everything I see. History, arcana, or what? Insight.
Yep.
It's all horrible. It's the best. 12.
Well, since you're doing 360, give me one more roll. So basically an advantage.
Natural 1.
Okay. And what's your passive? Do you have?
Passive insight's 10.
Okay, we'll go with 12 then. Okay. With 12, you're glancing around. You recognize this area from a dark, troubling moment of time for you. Do you feel like this is the same area where you went off adventuring with another guy? And as you start to recognize the place, you think the two voices you hear might be the younger you and the other guy.
I feel like this is another vision. Try to shake it off.
Charisma throw.
10.
10, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, you're unable to shake it off.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll walk toward those voices.
Okay. As you get closer, you hear the voices. They sound like they're being in an argument. They're fighting. You move closer.
Yep.
You move closer, and as you keep moving closer, the voices get louder and louder. Next thing you know it, you start hearing cries and pain, and potentially what might sound like stabbing sounds. And then as you continue walking, and you break through some trees, you see the younger self, you standing over a familiar body.
Yeah, I want to yell out at this point. I know what happens. I don't need to see this again. I'm just like yelling up into the void or whatever.
And you hear crackling of laughter. And she said, "Oh, really? I feel like you could use a reminder." The scene turns and it becomes darker. You don't see the younger you anymore, but the body's still there. And then you see shadows of various sizes, shapes, all demonic, and it's giving you a choking feeling. And you see them engulfing the dead body that's laying on the ground. The body begins to move. You hear bones cracking, gurgling sounds coming from his mouth. It gets up, stands, sees you with blood pouring from his eyes, nose, and a corner of his mouth. And he charges at you.
I'm doing a whole like curl up in a ball. This isn't real. Hold my head. This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real.
Give me charisma saving throw at advantage again.
24. Loving those 24s about now.
Seriously. Were you okay? You curled up in a ball and
Oh wait, shit! I did the wrong one. Sorry, that's it would have been the
intimidation.
same.
I didn't even.
Yeah, it would
I
have
didn't
been
even
the
see it.
same. Yeah, it's the same result.
That's fine. As you curled up, you feel. Are your eyes closed right now?
Oh yeah, yep. Closed, covering my ears, like a little kid.
You feel a gush of wind engulfs you, and then bright light appears. You can see it like a different shade of like light happened, even though your eyes are closed. You slowly open them, and you're back at Mr. Light's room on the couch. As you get up and sit up, he's currently on the floor, sitting down, his knees bent to his chest, his arms across his knees, and he's just like watches you.
Does he seem scared?
Give me
What's his demeanor right now? I wanna check that demeanor.
give me a perception or insight, either or.
7.
You can tell he's troubled, but that's about it. He's currently holding his scepter in his hand. He stands up, walks over to a cabinet, opens it, and inside's like covered in like bottles of honey mead and various like dark red wines. He grabs a bottle, begins to chug it. He grabs another one, tosses it in your direction. He mutters, "There's nothing in it. It's just honey mead. I promise you."
She's on the floor.
Oh, you just let it fall on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
um,
He walks up to you after he's finished drinking some mead. He sighs. They visit you, I see.
mm, yes, I believe they did. Mm, um,
He nods and he leans over you. I think you should leave.
I think that's a good idea as well. I apologize for pressing so hard. I will do my best to have as good a time as I can possibly have for the rest of the time that I'm at this carnival.
He smells, and with the same arm that he has the scepter in, he gently pats your back. And I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
9.
You do that, and if you utter a single word of this to what happened, I can guaranteed, and I promise you. Correction, I don't promise. I am threatening you that you utter a word and they will revisit you, and someone close to you will pay dearly. And I will know.
Hmm. So, again, another demeanor check on this guy. Like I'm trying to determine if is he looking at me threateningly? Is he looking at me like he's trying to protect his own skin? Is it like he's saying these things because like they're coming from him, or he's doing this kind of maybe on behalf of somebody else or something like that? Like, is there anything on his face that would help me
Give,
kind of see that?
give me an insight check.
So bad, so bad. 3. 3. That's a no.
You can't tell. From what you experienced so far, it's hard to really pinpoint. And right now, you're still on edge of what happened.
So I would say, since he's a blank slate or completely opaque to me, just say, I hope that's something you don't want to happen. Inquisitively.
He removes his hand off of your back, takes a step back, looks around, and he puts a finger up to his mouth, as in like a shh motion. goes to a table, pulls out a piece of parchment, a quill, and a little thing of ink. Walks over. He dips the quill in ink and begins writing on parchment. And what you think the ink would be black, but instead it's red and reeks of iron smell to it. He writes, listening. And then he writes another word, careful.
Was listening and careful.
Yeah, 2 words. Not like I just realized what that could be a little confusing. To make it clear, you definitely can tell that he didn't mean it as listen carefully.
Yeah.
It's 2 separate. Yeah.
Listening careful. Yeah. So I just. Let's see. So the last thing I said was. I mean, I understand that's something that you wouldn't want to happen. Like, so there are many other things at this carnival I have yet to do. Definitely interested in that snail racing.
Yes, most certainly. Still racing is always one of the popular ones. I don't understand why. It's just snails. What's more interesting than that? I mean, I'm pretty sure my bed will provide more entertainment for most of these carnival goers, but oh well. I guess I'm just too intimidating, he says. And he looks away and just kind of like flickers his hand up in the air.
Do I see an opening anywhere?
Glancing around the room, you see where you originally came from into his tent is back.
I hope to see you again, Mr. Light. Thank you again for the wonderful time. And backing up. Keep an eye contact until I feel like I'm far enough out that I can turn around and walk out.
He continues just to glare deeply at you. And certainly enough, you back up, there's the door, and you immediately open it and you rush out.
Yep. Is Burly there?
Give me a perception check.
Hey, 21.
Hey. So, quickly glancing around, trying to regain your bearings, you see Thanko, the clown, just blowing on his pipe on the back of the wagon, glaring at you. Kind of just a little like motion. Rolls his eyes, looks away. You see a lot of performers from the event coming back, going into like little hanging out spots near their tents or the center of the gathering, just to hang by like the little fire. Burly is currently near the fire, just staring into it. It's like a little campfire kind of thing.
Yeah, so I want to walk up to him and say, I think I'm done here. Can you take me back through that magic hedge?
He nods. And he leans in. Did you learn anything? Did you find out anything?
We just had a nice conversation about the carnival and the different things that I should do.
I have a question.
Yes.
How long have you guys been doing this? About? Well, I guess we'll find out next time. Never mind.
All good. He guides you. Well, as y'all two walk towards the entrance where y'all came from, when you're about like a few yards away from it, he stops and turns to you. You remember that guy in the business suit?
I assume that was Mr. Witch.
Yes, it was. You saw that pocket watch he had on him?
Yes.
Did you find anything about going into Prismere?
No. What is Prismere?
You would know. I mentioned it.
Last session. Lylana, you can actually Lylana and Karn, y'all can both help remind him.
Prismere is the realm that we know is adjacent to this one. It's connected to the carnival, and the hag's like layers are there, and we know, like, we've received tips that talking to Mr. Light or Mr. Witch is the key to finding out how to get into Prismere.
Well, then I just blew that opportunity for me.
It's fine.
Personally.
It's fine. We maybe have another chance at that. We'll figure it out later. But yeah, so you remember.
Yeah, you are well aware of
Yeah.
We've spoken about it at length.
Okay. Burly continues and says, I think I skipped that part. Okay, basically, you told him, no, you didn't learn anything. And he goes, there's a way that we can still fix things. Mr. Witch is very protective of that pocket watch. And he surprisingly slipped out a boo-boo. Have you heard him mentioning rewinding time? That pocket watch can do so. But only for the carnival. I feel like if you steal it from him, you can use it to bribe him. After all, I feel like without that pocket watch, he wouldn't have much control of this carnival, now that I think about it.
How far are we going? Like, because I'm back with the rest of the group now, right?
No, he stopped before y'all left. You're still inside the circle, basically.
Okay. So okay, gotcha. So
You're like a few yards away from it, though. From like the.
Karn and Lylena said to me was just like Deus Ex Machina. Like, okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, you're remembering us saying this from a couple
Yeah, this
hours
is like
ago, an
like a
hour
memory.
ago, whatever. Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, Prisoner
Rewind.
is a
Prisoner.
branch of the Fey realm that branched off, and the hags reside there, and each
Yeah.
hag has their own lair.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and secrets. Each hag has a secret.
Each hag has and a weakness.
Yeah. And weakness. Whoa.
So yeah, that was your memory.
Got it.
The whole blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
you kind of zoned out.
tuned out for that part.
You're too concentrated on Dan being shirtless.
I mean, at this point, what I'm thinking is, and I can just say this to Burly, that sounds like a very interesting tidbit of information. I think at this point, I am most interested in getting back to the group and back to Dane.
It's continues walking. Y'all exit. Well, as Burly gets 5 feet from the wall, same size opening happens. 8 feet by 4 feet. Y'all leave. It closes behind you guys, and he leads you back to the spot where he originally ushered you over at the big top. And we're gonna end it there because I don't know what else the group is gonna do.
We'll find out in Sunday.
Hopefully. Oh my god, I hope so.
Oh, I'm
Dude,
so excited.
This has been the most stressed out I've been. I wasn't even playing.
Right? Holy shit!
Dude, take your D&D Beyond dice, fucking take whatever computer you're playing on, stick it in a fucking freezer, dude.
Your
Alright?
fucking saves were so ass.
Just call me Pike. I'm Pike.
Bro, like, dude,
Lane 1.
Mari is being. I'm just like listening on Mari's end, and she's rolling and having you roll, and she's like, okay, roll charisma. I'm like, okay, she's being nice. Charisma is for paladins. Seems like a wisdom save, but okay, charisma's fine. You roll bad. Okay, roll with advantage. Bad. What's your passive?
What
Bad.
is it? Yeah, what is it?
I'm like,
Well, it's wisdom, so my wisdom.
Yeah.
No, your charisma modifier. What is that?
should be plus
Charisma
4 or
mod's
5
plus
for you, right?
4.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, paladins are charisma spellcasters. So.
I mean, I did roll a handful of 24 charisma saving throws.
You
Well,
did.
No,
You need a little
not
higher.
at the beginning.
I was like,
I
dude.
mean, think about your DC levels in
That
the context
DC.
of your character levels.
Well, to be fair, you went up against like what is this? Like an archfey, something like that, and
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
We all should have gone together.
the whole time, Ellie and I are just like, you should have listened to the two Azamar.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I got some of the information I wanted.
Yeah,
And
but
I
you
don't
can't-
think it's
You
possible
can't
for me
talk
to
about it though. You
Yeah,
can't
we
even
got-
talk about it.
Oh, I can if I want.
You can
Yeah,
get
you
mind fucked again.
Yeah, you're just gonna start growing mushrooms out of your fingers.
Wait, he doesn't know about the mushrooms.
Never mind. You're just gonna,
Oh
get all
man,
fucked up.
I can't believe. Ah! I want to play. I want to play now.
Oh man, even I was tense. Like, oh god, I was like, oh no.
When you rolled a 3, I was like, "Are you serious?" And Mari just starts cracking up because she's hearing it. So she's like what, like 3-4 feet to my right. She just starts cracking up. I'm like, bro, oh my god.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that was good though.
Yeah,
That was good.
perception's not good for me. I mean,
That's good
I
session.
got proficiency in it, but
Oh man, I am so excited
Still
to
not
find out
good.
what happens
I
on
will-
Sunday. I'm so excited.
I would say, when Eve tried to identify the scrolls, and even though he got a natural 20, even though it was like ended up being oh no, he
23, I
got
think.
tw
24.
yeah, he needed a lot higher.
Lots higher.
So
Oh my
Eh,
god.
so Ayfram, you also needed higher. I mean, it could have. Some people, I think their stats could have made it, but yeah, you're dealing with a lot of powerful forces.
Yeah, nobody who has identified though.
In over our heads is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I have 0 magic items. I got nothing. I'm just like
We're super in over our
straight-
heads, dude.
straight stick like perception. You know, like 50% of my rolls will be under 13.
Oh
Like,
boy.
yeah,
Like-
yeah. There's just like it's speaking as you know, outside. Obviously, within the realm of the game, our party thinks like they're fucking hot, like not like hot shit, but like okay, we can survive. We know we needed a miracle, but we survived. As players, we're like, no, we shouldn't be doing any of this.
Exactly. Exactly. We're like, I know what that guy is. I know what he can do. I know we can't handle that.
The only
But
thing
our
that
player-
can fix this place is a fucking wish spell.
Yeah, but our characters are like, it's not too bad. It's fine.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I'm working my way through campaign 1 of Critical Role, and I definitely relate to Pike in her roles.
I
She
cannot wait.
rolls like that. Everybody else is like, oh, I got a 24. That sucks.
Dude, okay. I
I got a
cannot wait
31, that's
until you
horrible."
get to the part of campaign 1 where they go into the Feywild. You are going to understand so much of what we're going through when you get to campaign 1
Yeah.
part, the Feywild part. You're gonna
yeah.
understand everything.
But yeah, Ashley Johnson just does not roll well on initiative ever.
Hi, she did
Yeah.
one time, and then it was like the one time she didn't want to go first.
Yeah,
I remember
I think
that.
it was I think it was like with Yasha or some shit.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I gotta go clean up the baby. I should be cleaning them up like I don't know 20 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah, that was fun. I had fun watching that.
Okay, Epic, what are your thoughts?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Nerve wracking.
Yeah, I didn't know which way it was gonna go, and it kind of went lots of ways.
I didn't know which way it was going to go either, so I had to create like different paths. And, oh god.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what happens.
I achieved my goal of not doing the nasty with the guy.
You
though.
did, you did!
Oh,